one of the best 270 players to ever play. There've been a lot of 270 players though, so I don't get out of here with that. Someone that I have met in real life, which is we're going to talk about that on the stream, um, and we have similar jobs as well. So we're going to deep dive into life, 270, and if we touch on it, the 2024 election. So first off, I haven't really watched the news today. I watched the Masters just a little bit. Um, I haven't really followed with this Israel bombing stuff, so I don't know if you know anything about that or not. But if you do, I don't know anything about it. So
I've been checked out all day. I went and played golf with my dad today, and have not honestly been on my phone at all. I saw something. Was Iran thinking about getting involved? Which I know they're like evolved, like through support and stuff. Was that what it is? Did Iran attack Israel?
I guess, yeah, I guess Iran attacked
Okay.
Israel, and the prime minister fled, and I don't know if the U.S. is going to do anything or not. So it's going to be interesting. People are crossing their fingers. We're not getting toward World War
Wait, the
III.
prime minister of Israel?
Apparently fled.
Okay, wow. Okay.
So anyway, we're here to talk about all kinds of stuff. I just want to ask off the rip, but for those
Gosh.
of you who don't know Troy Moore, I was super excited about an hour ago when I asked you, like, yeah, let's do it tonight. Um, I've been interviewing 270 people just so the audience can get to know also not just the game, but the people behind the game, put a face with the name. But I'll give you a chance to introduce yourself and just what should they know about Troy Moore?
Man, it's a great question. Yeah, I'm Troy. I'm from Southwest Virginia, a small town called Lebanon. I am a world geography teacher, and then in the summers, I'm a snow cone salesman. Let's see, I coach our girls tennis team at the high school. Um, got into 270 pretty big. I guess what year COVID was 2020?
COVID was
2020.
20.
Crazy. That was about 4 years ago now, I guess. Got into 270. Watched one of my first streams I watched was Sapon commentating a match between you and TJ in the finals of one of the very early tournaments. And I stunk at the game, but I was doing okay in the lobby, so I thought I was pretty good. So I started entering tournaments, and yeah, definitely that I, I I need to get back into it, but that little golden age there, that little golden era during COVID was pretty fun when the tournaments were kind of getting started, and people really went all out, and it was good. And I see there's a lot of good tournaments happening now, and like all the themes, and it seems like it's lounge is as strong as ever.
Yeah, and it's growing. We're up to over, I think, 13,000 people in the Facebook Lounge.
Oh, really?
There's a Reddit community that I discovered when I was making videos. Like, oh, a couple subcommunities. Yeah, and then there's the Steam people who are, in my opinion, even worse. But that's okay.
Okay.
If they're playing 270, that's good. I talked to Alex Deutsch, who is the son-in-law of the owner of the game, and he runs a lot of the op stuff. They had over 60,000 people play last month. So, and
Oh,
that
wow.
to qualify, that's more than two matches, like not just one. It could be a bot or whatever. So
Right.
yeah, just so it doesn't sound like you're too active into. When was the last time you played 270?
There was a tournament, and right when they came out with the new map, I was like, I got to check out the new map. Um, so I joined the tournament. I was like, I'm going to play till I lose. And um, first or second match, I got Connor Shanahan,
Oh,
who I think has become a pretty good 270 player. I think like when I was playing, he was like really up and coming, but then I've like kept up in the lounge. Like he's been killing it lately. And I beat him, and I was so happy because I didn't know the map at the time. And if you know my game style, like I kind of play a very straightforward game. It's like it's all swing states for me, and I know that group well, so I don't really Usually I'm pretty straightforward. But anyways, so it wasn't like I had a ton of learning to do, but I was happy to play the new map. I was like, oh, the new map's easy. Like it's just like the old one. And then kept playing, got some wins, and then I played Jason Casey. And honestly, I played a good game. And he eked out a win. I want to say it was like 6 EVs. It was really a tight game, and there was a clash in a state that I actually like had an incredible ballot, but he was just a little too good. So,
The goat
anyways,
came through. Yeah.
yeah, that was probably like 2 or 3 or 4 months. Whenever the new map came out, I played a
Was
few
that
games and then
Richard's tournament?
maybe yep. And
Cool.
yeah, I played probably like 7 games and then found Jason Casey. And once I lost, I was like, I'm not gonna grind it out and try and get up the leaderboard now that I've got a loss. It's a pretty tough grind against the level of play at the top usually.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think of the new map? You mentioned that it's a lot like the old map. Do you agree with the swing states that were removed? Since you're such a swing states guy, what do you think about Tennessee? Any other interesting nuggets you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, struggle a little bit with the math, but 270 to me has always been like a math game, like a logic game. So I wasn't even like, oh, this should be a swing state and this shouldn't. I wasn't really even looking at it. I was like, oh, this kind of interesting. Like you could just randomize it. I couldn't care less. Um, there's a couple states. What changed about Tennessee? Is it swing now or is it Old South?
It's manufacturing.
Manufacturing, that's what it was. Manufacturing did change, and because the swing to manufacturing took a little bit more brain power for me to figure out.
And the Texas manufacturing, you have to get more than 285. And
Yeah.
so there are like lots of combinations that give you exactly 285. So
Okay.
like, like a Illinois and a Wisconsin doesn't get you there. Um,
Yeah. I
you
think
know,
that's what I think that actually I had that issue is like you had to get 2 big states basically, right? Like, um, but yeah, I thought it was cool. I saw California was town and gown. I saw that like a lot of people like were talking about how that changed things, but I've never been like much of a town and gown guy, so I didn't really notice it. But yeah, I can imagine if you start town and gown, that wouldn't really work anymore. But it's still, I feel like it's still got to be a pretty good path, just because like New York is like there's still so many state groups that you might get a turn later or something. But I bet I don't know what you tell me. What's the biggest differences in strategy?
Well,
Um,
so for a while,
Groups.
and I don't know if you're aware of this, but for a while, like you mentioned, California had town and gown. That's since been
Mhm.
removed, so
Oh, okay.
it's no longer in there. But for a while, like the meta was California and New York. The old layered taste strategy where you'd go across the map, and someone like a Thomas Jefferson was like really powerful because the town and gown, high tech, Latino, like a Barack Obama. You know. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, it's since been removed. So the only changes are the swing states. Georgia, of course, being an old South swing African American state, and then the Tennessee change, as well as the delegates. So
Okay.
like Florida got a couple other electors, but yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I know if you're haven't been active, those are some of the things you'd pick up probably within 1 or 2 matches playing again. It's very
Yeah.
very similar, but like old South and swing battles, if you commit to a battle and you lose, you're pretty well screwed
Yeah,
because
for sure.
you can snowball pretty quickly with the new map. So
Okay.
anyway, but no, I had a question from James Bandolin. He was in the comments on Facebook. He wanted to know, when can we see Troy Moore in the next tournament. So he's wanting to either get revenge or just see a big name, join a tournament. So do you have a favorite tournament that would be willing to come back for, or is it just like a, hey, I'm coaching, I'm teaching, I'm snow cone selling. It's not a good time. When the time comes, I might show up.
Yeah, it's not been a great time. And I'm like really competitive with the game. And shout out to James. He is a very tough 270 player. I remember us having a lot of good matches. But I think like when I play, I really want to feel like I hate feeling like, ooh, I could have won this game if I put more effort in. That's like a bad feeling for me. So like I'm kind of like I either want to like do it or not do it. Um, so I guess I don't know, but I like the round table a lot. I like the no bonus tournament. I thought what they were doing with the ATP thing, I thought that was incredible. Like when we used to do the rankings tournaments that were like monthly and rollover, I thought that was a lot of fun, and like that was a big driver to like try and have like move up rankings and that sort of thing. So yeah, maybe one day I'd love to. I mean, my favorite was the RHL. That like when I that's when I really like got like started to like think about 270 and like try and get better at the game. Is like I was in the RHL and like every week I took it so serious and I studied my opponents and I really thought about my strategy and made sure I had the math right and that it's like to me that's when it's fun. Is when you're like detailed and you're putting treating it like the Super Bowl. Like it is a lot of fun. So I like the RHL. How about you? What's your favorite tournaments?
Well, I like the round table,
Yeah.
Daniel Smith, but the RHL, you beat me in the semifinals in the best of three, and I beat you game one, and you won game two and game three in clutch fashion. And I even outmaneuvered you in a swing state battle in game number two, and I did the men.
Wisconsin.
I did. I don't. I think you. Well, you stole it from me late in Arizona,
Yeah.
so I left it. I
Okay.
left it like on the eighth pip, but I was trying to have my cake and eat it too, and go Texas and California because it was pretty much the East Coast had been blocked off. I was trying to either prevent a ballot, force a ballot. I can't remember. And basically, I had come to the conclusion that there was no way that you would just single pip California. So I doubled Texas to try to either clash or do something, and you singled California, and that even though you didn't get any bonuses, those EVs really screwed me. And then game three, you won swing, and you were old school DeSantis with the big swing bonus, and I lost. So, and I think you went on to win the whole thing, didn't you?
Yeah, I remember that really well because I was just so into it at the time, and like you really outplayed me to be honest, and I think that was like probably one of the most like biggest scrambles I ever like had was like I think it was maybe game two or something you'd won game one and like I really like had a couple like
Yeah,
things go my
you
way
demolished me in game three. But yeah, game two, like you're talking
like
about,
there was a
you have
point where
that.
I was like I'm one move away from being done. Like if I don't make the perfect moves here, like if I don't try something crazy, um, yeah, I remember that, and yeah, I was able to win that year.
Yep,
It was
very
a lot.
cool.
Yeah,
Well,
it was.
Tossin, these names you keep throwing out. Tossin Lake. We've got who else did you mention? You mentioned some other people who are no longer playing.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, it's and I mean I took a long hiatus, didn't stream 270. Came back. This new map really brought me back, and
Yeah.
um, anyway, and I got a comment in the comment section again from James. Players can get town and gown with New York, Massachusetts, and Washington D.C. now. So I think it evens out the 2024 swing state battle. So it's a lot
Okay.
more cost effective, and then you can roll that into Utah and get high tech pretty easily.
Yeah.
So that I do agree that you know town and gown is a pretty good balance to swing, but Old South again is so powerful because now you have Georgia as a swing state. You've got still North Carolina, Virginia, Louisiana, Maryland. If you
Mhm.
can win Old South, it's still, in my opinion, one of the best ways to start the game. But
Can you get it in 2 turns still?
yes, the
Okay, yeah.
math is still the exact same, 125. Yeah.
And Tossin, I feel like he was like speaking of Tossin, like he was one of the first ones that I played that really went that Old South first. He would play like Ben Carson, and I remember playing him and just getting absolutely demolished. In my early days, he'd put put the Facebook thing like late at night. He'd put ask if anyone wanted to play.
Hello. Anyone up for
Hello.
a game? Hello.
Love that, and yeah, he would wreck me, and I really like. I feel like he was kind of the first ones to show how valuable Old South was, and then Jason Casey did a lot. Jason Casey would do it. I think the thing that he did was like he showed how valuable it was for someone who had a big African American, but he would do it even with someone who had a Old South, you know,
Penalty.
penalty, and that then it was like, oh, it's not about Old South, it's about African American,
Hmm.
and so yeah, there was RHL, like the evolution of the game with guys like Tossin and Jason doing different stuff. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, sir. Well, we'll move on. You can always ask questions or pivot back, but there's a lot of people in here who are newer to 270 or don't know you really well. So I want to talk about the time where you and I got to meet up in Kansas City. So that was a time a couple years ago, and we got to play some basketball. We got to play some pickleball. You are a tennis coach. You're actually pretty good at pickleball too. I don't remember those guys you brought with you, but I'd say you're probably the best of the bunch. But for the official record, how would you rate my basketball game?
Borman's a shooter. You got to lock him down on the perimeter. He's kind of like a Walmart Caitlin Clark, um, which is a compliment. Which is a compliment. He's like, yeah, if Caitlin
People
Clark
of
went to
Walmart.
Missouri, what's that?
Yeah.
Um,
That's funny. No, that was fun. We got to play some pickleball, basketball, and talk 270. And you guys also went to a Chiefs game, right?
yeah, we did. Yeah, that was the trip. Me and my high school friends, we go to a different NFL city every year and watch a game.
Yep. And the Chiefs. So you wanted to see Patrick Mahomes. Was the Packers played, or was it?
Yep, and I'm a Packers fan. Rodgers was injured that game, so it's actually one of Jordan Love's first starts, and
He's
they
got a
got.
lot better now than he was back then.
Yeah, he had an okay game. I want to say it was like a one possession game. Like the Packers maybe even had a drive to try and tie or win, and they couldn't get it done. Anyway, he was pretty shaky, but yeah, it was cool. Brendan came in clutch, drove us around the city a lot, showed us
Unofficial
showed us
Uber
the.
driver.
Yep. We missed out. He got in a fight at a hockey game the night before. And I remember we missed out. And I was thinking, man, I should have got there one day early so we could see that.
But you got to
It's
go to
like,
that arena where the Mavericks play. That you watched the game, didn't you? The night, sometime on that trip, or no?
we did. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Is the Mavericks a hockey team there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, yeah. We went to a minor league hockey game and it was a lot of fun too.
And they're having their best year ever right now. They're part of the Seattle Kraken organization, but
Okay,
they won the points like for that league. They had the most regular season points, and they're going to be in the playoffs. So
let's
anyway,
go.
yeah, go Mavericks. Follow up question: where are you guys headed this year?
We have not picked out for 2020. What is it? 2024 now? Is that where we're at? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
20.
we've not picked out 2024 yet. I've got one friend that really wants to do Chicago. So we might end up in Chicago once we'll see when the schedule comes out. Um, but we this past year we went to Dallas and saw them play Philadelphia, and
Mm.
that was a big game at the time. Both teams kind of actually after that game they actually like Philadelphia like fell off a cliff. Um, but it was a
I
good.
think I was playing against the Dallas Cowboys defense in fantasy football that game because I
They
remember.
had a good game, I think. Like
Yeah, I looked at the box score and it was like I don't remember a blowout. And I'm like, oh man, my AJ Brown and my Jalen Hurts are gonna be going off. And I'm like, no, they're not. And how the Cowboys have so many points? Well, at least I have whoever it was, CD Lamb or whatever, and he had like no points. I'm like, how did the Cowboys score these points? It was like defense, special teams. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, we were there for that one, and then yeah, Philly really struggled after that, and Dallas they weren't great either. But at the time, like they were pumped that game. That was a big game, big divisional game. And Dallas it was a cool city. Got to eat some barbecue there. It was a really fun trip. I thought the tickets were insane in Dallas. We've never seen anything like that before. Usually we try and make it a cost effective trip, but Dallas was Big D was pretty brutal, but just the tickets there. But it was a good trip with the boys, and we'll regroup and figure out 2024 here soon.
Nice. Well, very cool. So you brought up something. I wasn't going to go here, but I am now. So you brought up the Dallas barbecue. On our trip,
Mm.
you had Kansas City barbecue. We also had Raising Cane's, I think, on our.
We did have Raising Cane's.
That was pretty good. But barbecue wise, have you ever had like Memphis barbecue, St. Louis? What have you had, and what's the best barbecue you've ever had?
I still haven't been to St. Louis. You know, I'm not sure if I've been to Memphis either, to be honest. I'll have to say, man, the place we went in Dallas, and I really don't know what style barbecue it was. I feel like Dallas style isn't a thing, or Texas style, but the place we went, Terry Black's, I think was what it was. Um, Top notch. Dallas was insane. The brisket was insane. The ribs were insane. Big fan. If you ever get a chance to go to Dallas, Terry Black's, I think, is the name of the place, and it was incredible. Kansas City had good barbecue too. The places we went there, we went to one that was like kind of like a fast food place. I forget what it was called, but it was really good.
Was it Jackson? No, you went to where did you go?
We went a
Gates. No,
maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
that's okay. Well, if you
No
do
doubt.
go to Chicago, you have to try. Have you had the Chicago pizza?
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Not a fan.
No.
Well, I get some haters in the comments. I'm not a huge fan either. I just,
Yeah.
okay. Well, very good. I don't know if you know me, but that well, but I love food. I could talk about food all the time. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I got a question for you. Are you in your second year teaching now? Or, okay, cool. All right, what subjects are you teaching right now?
I am teaching seventh grade American history,
Okay.
geography, and I previously taught fifth and sixth grade social studies and ELA. And I don't have to do ELA right now. Grading, like writing, as much as I believe that that's such a critical skill.
Hmm.
I'm so happy I don't have to be the one that grades all those papers.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
We're watching
Um,
the Liberty Kids right now in class, talking about the Declaration of Independence and talking about, you know, the 13 colonies, the birth of America.
there's a Liberty Kids episode that I remember vividly. It was my favorite one. It was the one with John Paul Jones, Navy, is the famous quote, "I've not yet begun to fight," and he's voiced by Liam Neeson.
Nice.
You have to check out that episode because I was like 5 when I watched it, and it stuck out, or maybe not 5. I was probably like 7 or 8, and it stuck out all these years. It's like, and one day I was feeling really nostalgic, went on YouTube and found it, and I was like, "Who's voicing John Paul Jones? I've heard that voice before." It was Liam Neeson, and I was like, "What?" Like I don't know. It's just I thought that was cool.
That is cool. And I think Walter Cronkite voices Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, that's cool.
And he's from Missouri too. So,
Nice.
um, fun fact. But no,
Yeah.
I love the teaching. And actually, I've got some of my kiddos who are subscribed to 270 videos. So I have to, you got to be careful sometimes what I talk about, especially election stuff. But
Yeah.
anyway, freedom of
Got to
speech.
limit the f bombs and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's not really my style anyway.
I'm just kidding with you.
No,
Um. Yeah. What? How's are you coaching basketball too?
I'm not this year. No,
Okay.
I took a year off. I'm not coaching this year. I might in the future, and I'm actually at a bigger school. So it's like in Missouri, it's like 1 through 6, 6 being the largest, and it is a 6A. So coming from the opposite spectrum, a one.
Yeah.
um, I just wanted to get my feet wet, and it's been a really good decision. I've also, I have a 1 year old and a 4 year old, so
Yeah.
it's a lot being a full time dad. And then I actually have a part time job at our local community center. So I work anywhere from 20 to 30 hours a week. Get to meet a lot of people. They play pickleball over there. They play basketball. Or indoor pool 365 days a year. As my Jets go off there for a second. Um, so yeah, it's fun, but I have to kind of manage my time for sure.
For For sure. And coaching, if you're like me, and I think you are, because I've seen you play 270 and do other things, but like if you do something like it doesn't matter. Like I coach eighth grade basketball, and during basketball season, I feel like I haven't been a part of like a college program or even like a high school varsity coaching staff or anything like that. But I feel like I put in as much time as you would like going for a state championship. Like our middle school like county championship is like I'm like watching tape. I'm like all trying to figure out practices, and I feel like you're probably the same way. Where like if you're gonna do it, it's gonna take a lot of time, but you're gonna be obsessed with it.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately at the sacrifice of family and some things that are important to
Yeah,
me. So I've really had to be, um, intentional about what I commit to.
for
But
sure.
once I commit to it, yeah, I'm all in. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Competition. I mean, it kind of brings out that side of us. If you're someone who has dabbled in the obsessing with 270 game before, we probably are along the same line. I know
Yeah.
I put a lot
Uh,
of time into things.
Speaking of other games, are there any other games you play that you are competitive with? Or I know uh, we've talked about a couple back in the day. There was like one game where like you could like betray people or something.
Oh,
And then yeah, and then there's
diplomacy.
diplomacy. Yeah,
Diplomacy is such a really like well designed board game. It's like one of my favorites. The turns are done like simultaneously, so everyone decides what they're gonna do, and then it all happens. And so there's no turns. It's a fun game, and I really wished I had gotten a 270 group to play just because I think it's the type of game that a lot of 270 players would enjoy. And I kind of had a group that we almost we almost got a game going. I don't think I let it fall through, but yeah, diplomacy. If you ever get a chance to buy it or play it online, there's a pretty good online community. I've only played it a few times and I've loved it every time. It's like guaranteed to like ruin your friendships for a couple weeks. It's like one of those games that like you're gonna be so mad after, um, and but it's a lot of fun. It's a really good game. Let's see. I've been playing a little Rocket League, but I'm terrible at that. I'm not really good at actual like control or video games. But I like Rocket League. Um, do a little poker on the side.
nice.
I'm pretty bad at chess. I don't know what you've been into lately, game wise.
Yeah, so my students are all in the Fortnite, so I don't play, but I watch it and watch streams, just kind of keep up with stuff so I can like actually have a conversation with a 12 or 13-year old, which is
Yeah,
getting more and more challenging every
yeah,
day.
for sure.
But
Absolutely.
no, but yeah, I pretty much, I mean, I could stream other games. I pretty much just stream 270. I love playing Risk. That's kind of what, when I found 270, I was kind of trying to find something like Risk, and that kind of popped up, and that was 2016, like back when the candidates didn't even have stats next to their name. It just was like you choose Hillary Clinton or whoever it was, and you played. The bonuses were different, but there were like didn't say like plus 30% or minus. It just had their picture. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. But no, I would say just my priorities are right now family, teaching, and when I can, I stream. But I'm
Yeah.
hoping I'm hoping I can do some more live streams with Tyler Demora. Daniel Smith wanted to do something like this where we interview different 270 people, so I'm going to try to connect with him. And then my
I
goal
would
is to
love to
have.
talk to Tyler again. If you ever want to do multiple people, he's a guy I'm talking to him on streams and stuff like that.
Yeah, I try to tune into as many of his Twitch streams as possible. He's at
Mm,
Portly Games, and
yep.
he streams 2 or 3 nights a week, and he plays different games too. But yeah, he's an awesome dude, and yeah, he'll be on one of these videos in the near future for sure.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll have to tune in for sure. If you like Risk, though, you really should try Diplomacy. I can't remember all the mechanics of Risk, but I do remember that like one thing I it used to bother me about Risk was like how the turns went. Like the person before you and the person after you like had advantages, and everyone's on the same playing field, and everyone's got players before and after them. But I think you should give diplomacy a chance at some
Yeah,
point.
I definitely will look into it. I know you. I think you even invited me. That's what kind of sparked my question because I remember that conversation from like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I
um,
played a couple times, but like it. Every time I play, I'm like this is a really good game. It's just really well designed.
Yeah. I One thing I do want to do since it is a tight knit community, and you may not have names or you may not think of someone else because all these questions are off the cuff. I didn't give you a script or anything, but were there any people from the lounge that you wanted to give a shout out to, either for being either a role model to you, someone who was just a heck of a nice guy? Maybe they sucked at 270, maybe they're good at 270, but just someone that you want to give a shout out to? I know you were good pals with Adam Montgomery, and he played really well for a short amount of time. He uh, retired.
Yeah, he's got to be like one of the most underrated 270 players. We used to talk about 270 and strategy, and yeah, I miss Adam. I need to connect with Adam again. He's hard to get a hold of. Um, yeah, Adam was great. I loved, obviously like Sapon. Like I remember listening to his streams and just thinking he did such a good job of like growing things and making people interested in watching the other people's matches. Um, there's so many. There's too many names. Me and Javier connected in L.A. I was out visiting some friends, and he came over. We actually played poker. It was like me and some of my college buddies. So it's kind of similar to us, except it was a different friend group, and we got to do that, which was pretty neat. Meeting Javier in person. We got a picture together somewhere. Um, so yeah, it's been cool to meet people in real life. Tyler Demora for sure. I'm trying to think Tossin, like, I don't know. There were a lot of people that I was interacting with multiple times a week because we played matches like all the time. Or at least I did at the peak of
COVID.
playing. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I felt like I had so much time on my hands too. Like we'd have conversations like this, like, a couple times a week it felt like. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I'm
Some of
trying.
those are not suitable for YouTube. Not just you and me, but like the group that was in that. I'm like, good night, guys. I would log off real fast.
Yeah. No, definitely some fun stuff. But like I don't know, I've had pleasant experiences with like so many people, and so some I don't know as well, or some of them like maybe we talked like really deeply about politics or something like one time, and like I think I remember Daniel Warren.
Mhm.
Who else? There's like random people. I'm trying to think. I'm sure I'm just missing so many people, but yeah, just like you just like have one really good conversation about something with somebody. But yeah, it's a really neat community. A lot of good people. I can't believe some of the effort some of the commissioners put into the tournaments. They do an incredible job. I remember Richard with the multiplayer tournaments. I remember that was one of the first ones. I actually really, I actually think I'm a better multiplayer game player than I am single player. It doesn't really the tournaments don't really work as well in multi because trying to get it figured out, and then like the meta strategy of like this person's really good, so we're gonna gang up. Like there's like a
And the
few.
logistics of it, and also, people can like team up against somebody, like if it's a points,
Yeah,
structure. And so I went undefeated in this season's multiplayer.
yeah,
And then the last game of the regular season, which didn't matter to me. I'd already locked up the number one seed. Like they totally, like everyone just gained up on me, which was fine. I still
yeah.
almost won. Um, but it'd be cool, like if there was a way where you know um, you didn't know who generated the code or and that takes just extra work. But
Yeah,
yeah, I do love a good multiplayer match, and Richard's great. Chad Harris does a lot.
yeah,
We had the ATP you referenced earlier. Marty Donnelly is now the commissioner of that, so that's a great person to contact if you're wanting to join the ATP.
Okay.
and yeah, there's yeah,
They're
you
probably
might take.
their names. Zach Algaze, Jason Casey. Who is Nathan Williams? I looking back, I had so much fun with the drama of it all. Like I had people cheat against me. Pretty sure it might have been Nathan, not sure, but pretty sure. Um, and just like looking back, like man, it was so fun to follow it. And Jason, I don't know if he's still pretty active on the lounge. But for a while, he was like really, really pissing people off.
He still
And
plays quite a bit, and he is running a business now, and he's got a
okay,
successful start to it. So I know time wise, he doesn't have as much time, but when he does, he's all in too. I mean,
yeah,
he had a band for a little bit,
okay,
so but he's
yeah.
back.
I mean, I just like I have good. I have I think everybody, but like there's some people like I don't necessarily agree with the way they brag or different things. And I'd tell them that to their face, but it did make it fun, and like I love
Mhm.
drama, and I love how good people got. I want to know who your 270 goat is, which is a hard question because I really think so many people fit in different categories. Like this is the best for this, and this is the best in that. And there's so many of us that I think got really close to almost being playing the game close to perfectly. Um, but I'll tell you,
Well,
who mine is a guy that I haven't mentioned yet, Eric. Eric York. When I got in a match with him, I was scared to death. He was just like he would just piece me apart. His bonuses, the way he started, he was just a complete player. And I thought different guys were good at different things, and some people were really good at the math, were good at the logic, were good at the end game. And Eric, he used to like if I beat one phase, he kind of find a way to pick me apart in a different phase. I thought he was really tough to play against. What's your
I agree. I agree with that for sure. Eric is definitely on the top of the list as far as people you could have a conversation about. I I don't know when you say goat, I just think of Jason Casey because like it's a self-proclaimed nickname. So
yeah?
if you want to say best or you want to say highest achieve, I got like you said, there's so many different ways you could label it, but I don't know.
Jason is tough.
That might be a future video I could do.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And Jason, like the longevity and the amount of tournaments he's won, he's been really consistent. I know Hasib was really good. I know Connor was really good, and some of those guys were more active when I hadn't played as much, or wasn't playing as
Mhm.
much. So I
Yeah, and
don't really know how it all
I've
shook
never
out.
lost to Connor. So
Okay,
I hear the same thing. People mention him, so I'm not discounting that. But
yeah,
he
I know.
played a lot. He played a lot whenever I was taking a sabbatical. So
Who was
I,
the guy that played Jason
Chris
to like
Lassinger.
lethal? Lassinger. Yeah, I watched that match, and that match had like there was so much back and forth in that match. Like I was like, oh, Jason's got the advantage now. Lassinger has the advantage, and like Lassinger won, right?
Yeah, Lassinger
Yeah.
won. That's why Jason had to leave the lounge for a little bit. But
Okay. I don't
another
really remember
player,
Steven, but
Another
I
player
will.
that I wanted to throw out there is George Fry.
George.
He was really good, and he has a YouTube channel where he does like Star Wars content. But he has a couple YouTube videos that have like 30,000, 50,000 views compared to my tiny little 2,000 views. But
Did we call him like the surgeon or something like that?
I don't remember, but
I don't know.
so I will say, and I also used to be like next level, like spreadsheet, track people's moves, track people's games. Like George was a little bit more predictable than some of the other top players, but I mean, he just whenever they did those tournaments in the app, like not a community run tournament, but like 270 would host it, he
Mm,
would consistently go like 99-1 or
mm-hmm.
just because he would grind and he could beat anybody. But
Yeah.
and he didn't cheat. There's some people said, oh, how do you play that many games? Well, there were
No,
people like me.
I matched with him in a lot of games, and he never. I don't think he ever like quit. I mean, there's some other people that would, they would you get in a game with them, and
The internet's disconnected.
yeah, really conveniently. Which it's kind of like, there was kind of I was kind of like if they knew that I was good, then they were probably good enough that I was a little worried about them too. So I'm like, okay, if you want to forfeit, like I don't mind to find someone else too, but you probably shouldn't be doing that because I'm not doing that. But I'm not really gonna like track you down and be like, we have to play because it's like you're probably a pretty good player too. So
Mhm.
yeah, but yeah, I remember I ran into George. There was like times when like I would be grinding out games and I'd get George like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. So my best ever 270 tournament, I went 88-2, and I beat George twice, but my two losses were both to George. So, and
I
I
was
did.
I wanted to go 100. That was one of my goals. When I was like at my peak and I was really into it. And I got to the 80s and hadn't lost a game, and I was playing the best of my life. And that's probably why I don't like. I think Eric York is so good. Is I was actually ahead in a game similar to the game that me and you played in the RHL. Like I was ahead, had him where I wanted, did something dumb. Maybe it was a mistake with math. I can't remember, but I had an OP candidate combo. I was playing. I was playing that swing guy. Who is that swing guy? The bald guy. I don't know. Him with Michelle Obama was just unreal.
Was it a Democrat?
Yeah, it was a Democrat that was like just good at swing. And there's someone I used
I
to
can.
play a
Is it
lot.
John? Is it Delaney?
It might be Delaney. It might be Tim Ryan. I'm not sure, but I paired
Tim
him up with.
Ryan. Tim Ryan. Tim Ryan.
I played a lot of Tim Ryan. It
Tim
might be
Ryan had a
Delaney.
30% swing.
Did Delaney have 35? Maybe. I
Delaney's a
think it
really
was
good like VP candidate because it has swing, but I think Tim Ryan's is higher. But I think
okay.
Delaney has like other state groups that go better.
It was someone with a 35, and they made Michelle's swing. So like it was like I was basically playing 50% African American, like 50% swing. Like it was so. I mean, that combination was just insane. And yeah, that was a good run. But Eric York picked me apart, and he did it too. He did it with like a no VP, and like he just outplayed me. So yeah, what are you gonna do?
Kudos to Eric York.
Yeah.
So another thing I'm gonna ask you because I'm trying to get my Discord people to give me suggestions, and they're kind of running out of some. So on my channel, I have a 270 challenges. So
Mm-hmm.
like one was I couldn't win a single swing state, and I had to win
Mm-hmm.
the match. Another one I just did, I think yesterday, the day before, was I had to, before I could spend any money, I had to save $3 million of cash and then see if I could come back and win. Just kind of a fun way of like not just playing the same game, the same strategy over and
Yeah.
over.
Is this against lobby players?
Well, so I've done both. I've
Okay.
even had the AI because I couldn't get like some of the like specific like
Yeah.
you're not going to get a rematch of this election or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but most of the time it's a lobby player. But
Mm.
and it can be really easy. It could be medium. It could be like extremely difficult. One that I'm going to try just to give you an example is someone in the Discord mentioned I had to lock every state that had that was exactly worth 10K, like DC, Delaware, before I could.
Brandon. Brandon. Is it just Brendan that's frozen? Or is it me that's frozen? Am I hosting Brendan's YouTube now? Take over, Tom. Looks like it's my YouTube now. I'm not really sure what to do though at this point. I'm not I think he was gonna ask me for a challenge. So just in case I'm going right now and you can see me, but Brendan's not going, let me think of a challenge. And um we'll have it ready for Brendan when he gets back. Um, let me think. I would be curious about, um, man, that's tough. Um, I want to think of something good. I feel like I used to have some good ideas. Um, for tournaments back in the day. I've always wanted to play a match where you have to spend all your money, but your object is to lose the match. But both players know what's going on. So like me and Brendan both know. Um, it does get a little tricky though if you do that because the states don't all add up to 250K. So like it would be interesting to see how that would work.